Hello, captains, and welcome back to Microsoft Flight Simulator. We are continuing our adventure in the Northeast Megalopolis bush trip in the Diamond DA62. We are currently on leg number 6, heading from Long Island MacArthur to Newark Liberty International. I wanted to start bringing you guys in from the menu so that you could get this nice little graphic here that kind of shows you the trip that we're taking overall. I think we're kind of somewhere in like the middle portion of it. So yeah, there's that. But we're gonna hop into the plane real quick, get a nice little outside view of where we are, and then get taken off. Get taken off. Begin our takeoff roll and get all of that set up. There is some preliminary, I don't what's the word I'm looking for? Housekeeping things that we have to do before we actually get into the air, because the GPS system doesn't necessarily do what we want it to do. But this is the plane that we're in. This is the airport that we're taking off from. So that's going to be kind of nice. So the thing that we end up having to do is we always end up having to go to the GPS over here. We need to figure out what our next waypoint is. It's going to be POI 37. So we need to hop into our flight plan. We need to select POI 37 because it always gets stuck back at whatever the waypoint was for the second leg of the flight. It never updates to what the current leg of the flight is when you pop into this. So I always end up having to go through this, and I've already forgot the number that I was looking for. POI 37. So we're going to find POI 37. We're going to go direct to. We're going to scroll down, or we're going to go, what was it? I don't remember how I get to that. Can I just press? I wish you could just press this. Can I do? Nope. Clear. Hold on. Oh, and they're gonna make me go back to it again. All right, I'm sorry. This is the part that really irritates. Nope. Come on. Okay, seriously, dudes. Oh my God, dudes. Enough. Let me. Okay. Direct to, please. And then there we go. Enter. That. Now, why did that not work? Oh my God, the GPS system is. All right, I'm really trying to be patient right now, but I don't like the way that this works. This is really unnecessarily complicated and stupid, and they. I don't blame you for clicking off the video at this point because this is unreasonably dumb. Okay, I should be able to press enter. There we go. I don't know why you guys had to make it that difficult, but whatever. Get that parking. I always forget to turn the parking brake off, but whatever. We're in business now. 3 minutes into the video, but hopefully some of you stuck around and put up with that because you're interested in this leg of the flight. So let's get ourselves up to speed. We are at the, I guess that's what, V1 right there, and then this is going to be rotate here in a second, I think. So we'll start pulling back on the stick. Ooh. Okay. Start pitch trimming up. Get that gear up. And now, because we have our autopilot all set up, get our flaps set. All right, come on, pitch trim. There we go. Let's go ahead and get our nav mode set. And then let's get our altitude set to about 1500, and we'll do the altitude hold there. Vertical speed, we'll pop that up to about 1000. Seems to be a good vertical climb rate for this plane. And off we go to our first point of interest. So we are taking off towards West Babylon after taking off from KISP. This sounds like Kerbal Space Program. Fly inland of the south shore of Long Island to West Babylon. It's going to be about 12 miles away. Looks like this whole trip is going to be about 20 minutes, so even that first 3 minutes of messing around shouldn't make the video too long. Just double check and make sure our flaps are up, our gear is up, pitot heat is on because it is cold here, and it looks like everything else is fine. Obviously, this is all stuff you would normally do while you were on the ground, but these bush trips aren't really exactly the most realistic thing in the world. And because I'm recording these for you guys, I don't really want to take a bunch of time sitting there on the ground messing around with them. So hopefully you appreciate. Hopefully those of you who aren't super hardcore flight sim guys appreciate that. I think that for the most part, the kind of people who are going to be watching flight simulator videos are they're either super hardcore flight sim guys who are interested in that kind of thing, or it's those of you who don't have the game and you just want to kind of experience it without having to invest, you know, what's the price of it now? Like $80 or something like that, just for the base game. And, you know, if you want to get into the other stuff, you have to start buying all of the extra things and all of that. Oh, are we not in GPS? Oh, I always forget to change that. GPS mode, please. There we go. All right, that should turn us in the right direction. I always forget that you have to put it in GPS mode. It doesn't automatically start that way. Oh, my finger's all stuck on the thing there. Nav mode, please. Nav mode, GPS. There we go. Okay. So hopefully this will get us on track. It's been a few days since I've actually recorded a flight sim video, so I forgot all my standard setup stuff. We need to get on this little track, this little line track over here towards USR 37, which will be the West Babylon that we're trying to get to. Oh well. I think I'm going to go ahead and do a cut to make up for the kind of stupidity that I've had for these first few minutes. So I'm going to, well, I don't know. I don't want to cut, because then what if there's something interesting that you guys can see along the way? This is the airport. I think this is the airport we took off from, right? Is this the same airport we took off from? Oh, let me get rid of this. No. Well, can I get to the... I just want to get to the flight plan. Ah, there we go. Yeah, this is the same airport we took off from. Oops. I'll get these down one of these days. Okay, so we are set to GPS tracking, though, so ideally this should be lining us up with the GPS line there, taking us to the waypoint, and then we can get on with our flight here. Fortunately, this is a short flight, so these little errors that I make at the beginning aren't that critical as far as overall runtime, but I know they're annoying, and I'm going to try my best to remember all of the things I need to do so that we don't have these stupid little things happening again, because I know it's frustrating. It's super frustrating when you're trying to watch something and they don't know what they're doing. Funny thing is that because I have been so inept in my flight simming, since I've gotten back into this, I've had a couple of people and I'm grateful for it, offering advice on how to get better at flying, and they don't know that I actually do have my private pilot certificate already. I do know how to do this stuff. It's just I'm so out of practice that yeah. And you know, it's one of those things where it's not like riding a bicycle. You have to get back into it. You have to get back into the training part of it. You have to relearn things that you've forgotten that used to be kind of muscle memory. So, you know, taking off and landing, airspeed, and then of course you're flying planes that you're not familiar with too. So, you know, I'm not familiar with the DA. I would never own a Diamond. I would never fly a Diamond because I'm not a fan of their cockpits. I don't like this. I know it looks futuristic and everything, but I mean, this is a really crappy field of view out the front of the aircraft. Like, seriously, I don't like it. The little crescent moon shaped thing that they got going on here, I'm sure that appeals to a lot of people. It's a very successful aircraft company, but I don't know. Diamond aircraft have never appealed to me. Personal preference kind of thing. You latch onto the aircraft that you like. I mean, me personally, my dream aircraft, oh man, my dream airplane is the Grumman Albatross. Yeah, that's because it kind of combines all of my interests into one thing. It's an airplane, which is my top level hobby / interest, or I can't say it's a hobby because I don't actually get to fly, but flying is like at the top of my list of things that I enjoy doing when I was able to do it. And then sailing is my second one, and while obviously you can't sail an airplane, it does land in the water, so it's kind of sailing adjacent. And then it's also big enough that you could live on it live on it like you do it in an RV if you wanted to. You know, as long as it's not you know, more than like a couple of people. You know, you could set the plane up to live on it, have, you know, fresh water and all that stuff. And then of course, because it's a seaplane, if you wanted to land in the water and have a water maker on there like a sailboat would, how cool would that be? But anyways, yeah, that's my dream plane. Like, if I had unlimited money and I could afford to just get whatever I wanted, I would buy an old Grumman Albatross, kind of retrofit it with modern equipment while trying to maintain as much of the original classic look as I could. But yeah, that would be like the ultimate dream situation for me, because I have no interest in like super yachts or flying around a big massive jet or any of that other stuff. I don't need a big fifth wheel or any of that other all of these things that you could go crazy on. You could go crazy, you know, if you had unlimited money you could do that. I don't really have that much interest in that, and the only reason I know the Grumman Albatross fully kitted out and fixed up and everything is still like $1 million plane, and it's super expensive to run, but it's not the money aspect that appeals to me, it's the plane itself. It's just a cool plane to me. I don't know. If money were not an object and I could just have the plane and I didn't have to worry about how much it costs, like I don't care about impressing anybody. Like, I think a lot of people, when they want to get rich so they can impress people, and it's just like, I don't care. I have no interest in impressing anybody. But here we are in West Babylon. So that's where we are right now. We're getting ready to turn off to the next waypoint. So I wanted to give you guys a better view than what this cockpit can provide, because low-wing aircraft are not a good choice for any kind of sightseeing. I'm not sure why they picked that for this, but that's what they did. Okay, next up on our journey is Westbury. Turn to the west-northwest, passing by Republic Airport, Bethpage, and Levittown to reach Westbury. Got another, 4 minutes, 11 miles, something like that, so we'll continue recording as we go. I'm only really going to pull out if we have like 10 plus miles. I'll put a pause in there, and even then, it's only going to be if the flight length is over 30 minutes, because my general preference for any of my videos is between 20 and 30 minutes. I feel like that's a good, nice long length of time for people who are looking for something to sit down and watch for a little bit. You know, like you sit down and you watch a half-hour episode of Friends. You know, you're willing to sit there and watch it because you're wanting something that's going to eat up a little bit of time because you got nothing else to do. I mean, and seriously, who gets on YouTube looking for 5-minute videos? I mean, I guess I'm sure some people do, but for the most part, I think people who get on YouTube are looking for a little bit longer form content, because if you were looking for rapid fire, quick pace stuff, you'd be heading over to like TikTok or something, or you'd be watching YouTube Shorts. So the audience that I'm aiming for is people who have, you know, an hour or two of spare time and they're just looking for something to watch. And I'm hoping to earn a small portion of that, a small portion of your attention for that amount of time. And then if you like my content enough, you can click that join button and start supporting the channel directly, you know, because it helps me out. You always got to ask for money. You got to sell yourself, right? You can't just assume that people are going to be like, oh yeah, let me give this guy money. You got to make sure they know, hey, it is an option that you can support the channel if you find this content. Either if you find this content interesting enough, or if you like the channel enough, or you like me enough that you feel like I'm worth supporting. So hopefully that's something that some of you will choose to do. I am very grateful for the channel member that I have right now. I don't know that he watches these videos, but you know, as I add more and more channel members, assuming that actually happens, get you guys put up there on the list towards the beginning of the video, because you guys definitely deserve credit for helping to push this channel towards something that could be I don't want to say permanent full-time gig for me, but hopefully, you know, into the foreseeable future, that would be nice. Clearly, you know, you can't do YouTube forever. Nobody stays on top forever. Eventually, even the most popular people are either going to get tired of doing it, or the audience moves on, or whatever other reason. The best you can hope for is that you get a nice long run where maybe you can build up some money for the future so you can plan for whatever the next phase of your life is going to be. Of course, I haven't even found success, and I'm already thinking about planning the next phase of my life after that, so hopefully that's a good omen. Hopefully it's a good thing where I'm thinking, you know, yeah, maybe I will make it on YouTube, and maybe I will be able to do this for maybe like 10 years or something like that. And then as the audience starts to get bored with me, I have enough money to move on into maybe doing a travel vlog or something, and, you know, just try to figure out different ways of making money on my own. I'm super tired of working for other people. I did it for 20 years. I did it for the Marine Corps. I did it for various construction companies as in an administrative capacity, and I'm at the point in my life where I really just want to try to figure out a way where I can come to customers directly, and I'm hoping it's going to be you as my viewers, come directly to you guys and have you guys be like, yeah, man, I like you. I want to give you money. What you're putting out is worth $2 a month or $5 a month or whatever it is, I don't feel like, I know I'm not Netflix or anything like that, but I am putting out 5 videos a day, at least 5 days a week, if not all 7 days a week. It's a lot of content. It's a lot of content to be putting out there, so I'm hoping some people will find some interest in that. It looks like we're turning off to our next destination, so this is Westbury. Unfortunately, most of these places are going to look the same because if you've seen one city in America, you've seen most cities in America. That's unfortunate. But we'll pop out of the cockpit for a second every time we reach one of these. I'll try to remember to do that, just so we can see. Bronx Zoo, 14 miles away, 5 minutes. Site Kings Point to the northwest. Oh, okay, site Kings Point. So the Kings Point is what we're trying to site. That was very confusing. To the northwest and pass over nearby Great Neck. I'm guessing is that a dam? Great Neck Dam? That sounds like it was a dam. And then fly over the western end of Long Island Sound, just to the east of Throgs Neck Bridge, to arrive at the Bronx Zoo, the largest metropolitan zoo in the United States. I have to tell you, though, the San Diego Zoo is pretty cool. I have lived in the San Diego area for a very long time at this point, and the San Diego Zoo is actually pretty cool. They had the panda over here for a while. I don't think it's there anymore, though. I think they took it back to China because the Chinese wanted their panda back. So I don't think it's there anymore. But then again, I could be mistaken. I thought I remember seeing something a while back where the Chinese said you need to give us our panda back now because it was on loan from the Chinese, I think. Something like that. I don't really know. I just know that I remember reading online somewhere at some point a couple of years ago that the panda was leaving, and a lot of people were disappointed because it had become kind of a staple of the San Diego Zoo, and everybody was like, "Aw, we're losing the panda? Come on." But if you do come to the San Diego area where you really want to go, and this place is better than the zoo in my opinion, is the Wild Animal Park, which is run by the zoo system, but it's a little bit further to the north and east of the zoo, kind of out in more of the less populated area because they were able to build, I don't want to say like a nature reserve or anything like that. It's very much a zoo experience, but it feels a little bit more like a safari kind of setup rather than you're walking through a zoo. So you definitely want to go there because they have they have a lot more in the way of variety in animals, and the animals are in bigger spaces so that they're able to kind of walk around in environments that look a lot more like their natural habitats. So there's always that. There's a lot of stuff to do in just Southern California in general. It's like they say, you're like 2 or 3 hours from everything. You can, depending on the time of the year, you could go to the beach and then, you could go to the beach and hang out for a couple of hours and then drive a few hours away up into the mountains and go skiing. It's one of those weird things where, Southern California happens to be in the right confluence of areas where you can go to the beach, you can go in the forest, you can go up in the desert. The desert's only a couple of hours away from wherever you happen to be. You can go up in the mountains during certain times of year and you're going to be able to go skiing. Like, you could take a whole weekend and do pretty much every different kind of environment that you would want to go to. So it's kind of weird. I mean, obviously it's not all year round. In the summertime, the mountains don't have snow or anything. But I'm just saying, you're a couple of hours away from everything. So it's kind of a cool thing to be able to do. Getting pretty close to the zoo. I guess we'll definitely have to pop out of our cockpit to see if we can identify which of these buildings is the zoo, but I don't know. I run at 1080p and the resolution isn't exactly the best. It's kind of hard to lights. runway lights for whatever that airport is. I thought that was a graphical glitch or something. So we are, what, 3 miles away? Getting pretty close. I'm not sure which of these is going to be the zoo, though. Welcome to New York. Glad I'm not running this on Ultra right now, because all these buildings would probably slow my recording down quite a lot. It's already kind of stuttering a little bit as I quickly change directions in my head movements there, but I'm also glad I'm not using the head tracking software, because I'm pretty sure that would be struggling pretty hard trying to make that work. So KEWR over there on the map, I would imagine, is where we're going, right? Yeah. It doesn't say specifically, but I'm pretty sure it's right after the Statue of Liberty and Point of Interest 42, which is this one. So yeah, I think I've flown over the Statue of Liberty in this simulator before, but I think it was one of those. Oh, we're already there. I think it was one of those activity things that you could do. So I'm guessing this is probably the zoo here, all the trees and stuff. This area probably, I have to imagine this is the zoo. They would have the zoo heavily treed and forested and natural looking, so it makes sense that this is probably the zoo there. Alright, well, let's check out what the next point of interest is going to be. We are headed towards George Washington Bridge. Continue west, passing over the Harlem River and then northern Manhattan to reach the George Washington Bridge, which spans the Hudson River. I would imagine that this is the bridge right here, right? Yeah, this is the bridge right here, so we'll go ahead and pop back out into external view so we can get a nice long look at the, so this is the, what was this? Passing over Harlem River. So this is the Harlem River, I'm guessing, and then the Hudson River here. And here is the George Washington Bridge. Very cool. I have to say that this Northeast Megalopolis trip is kind of awesome. Just because you're flying over all of these well-known cities and you're seeing them from an aerial perspective, and the fact that Microsoft Flight Simulator chose to use, you know, I don't remember which map service that they're using, probably Bing since it's Microsoft, but they're using a GPS map service to draw all of this stuff out. So I think that's a really good way to make all of that work and give you a fairly realistic experience. Next up is Central Park. Head south to Central Park, admiring the vista of skyscrapers towering above Manhattan. These include One Vanderbilt, blah, 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 a bunch of different buildings, and, of course, the Empire State Building. Central Park lies, this is Central Park here, lies at the center of, let me switch over to the external camera so you don't miss any of it. Lies at the center of a little bit of Manhattan's architecture and bustle, and is the most visited urban park in the United States, and one of the most visited places in the world, with over 40 million people traveling each year to see it. Continue flying south-southwest above Manhattan at the core of greater New York City, which lies in the geographic center of the Northeast Megalopolis. New York, the most populous city in the United States with nearly 9 million inhabitants in its 5 boroughs, is one of the world's leading centers for business, media, education, the arts, sciences, finance, and more, and as such can be considered the heart of the Northeast Megalopolis. So there you go. Flying over Central Park here. And then we're going to continue on towards the Statue of Liberty, which is going to be next. How far is it to that one? Looks like about 6 miles, so we'll hang out here until we see. That's probably it right there. So yeah. So this is pretty cool. It's kind of cool to fly over, you know, one of the most iconic cities in the world. My graphics card is struggling to process all of the 3D rendering required for all these buildings. Just a little bit, but you know, we're making it through, and this part of it will not last forever, so ideally everything will be just fine. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the Statue of Liberty up there, right over here. I have to imagine it's out there on a little island, and it's pretty tall, and it looks like it has something sticking up out the top of the regular thick part of it. So we'll fly over to that, take a look at the Statue of Liberty, and then we have a couple more waypoints after, or no, actually the next waypoint after that is our airport that we're landing at. So as soon as we, I don't want to move away because I want you guys to be able to see the statue as soon as it's close enough to clearly render. But at the same time, we do have a landing to do here in just a little bit. So I want to be quick about it once we get to that. So we will go ahead and jump back into the external view. I'm not a fan of doing it this way, but because the cockpit is so limiting in the field of view that it has, and that it's a low-wing aircraft, I'm making an exception here because I want you guys to actually be able to see the various points of interest as we fly over them. So hopefully that makes sense. Here is the Statue of Liberty. I'm sure if I had a 1440p resolution or 4K, you'd be able to see it much better right now, but unfortunately, I don't have a monitor that allows that, and nor does my system have the processing power to be able to do especially all of this in 4K. Like, that would be a lot. It's struggling to do it in 1080p, and I'm trying to do it in 4K. All right, so here we are at the Statue of Liberty. I knew that the autopilot was going to do that. Well, there it is. And it finally fully rendered it. All right. Bring your tired, your poor, and all that cool stuff. Okay, back into the cockpit. We need to do a landing here pretty soon, so looks like we're already pretty close. Can I see the airport from here? I think it's this one. So we are going to go ahead and get the autopilot turned off. We're going to pull back on the power a little bit so we can start getting our speed down. And then we're going to land at the airport there. Actually going to swing around a little bit to the right. So, yeah. Swing around a little bit to the right so we can have enough room so that we can hopefully turn into the airport before it becomes an issue. Fortunately for these bush flights, they've disabled any kind of traffic or interaction or anything we need to do for these airport landings and things that we have to do. So that makes it a little bit easier. We don't have to deal with ATC or flying in a specific pattern or doing any of that other stuff. Start turning that up. I keep forgetting I'm used to a different control setup for camera movements, and every time I push forward it pushes me up into this view instead of putting me back into this one, so that's annoying. I have to remember to press the same button again, not try to look forward. Alright, I don't want to sink down any more than this, so let's get our pitch trim set up in a way that keeps us from falling. Where's our airport? So, yeah, it looks like we're about perpendicular. And unfortunately, the airplane just really wants to sink because of the speed. We'll go ahead and put our first notch of flaps in, though, because why not? Just trying to get lined up with the airport here. I think we can land on this left one here. So, I keep forgetting I can't do that. Get our landing gear out. Straighten out this so we can get lined up with the runway there. Add some pitch trim so we don't sink too fast. And then ideally, by the time we get down to the runway, we'll have hit our landing speed. I'm actually going to go ahead and put the second notch of flaps in. I'll try to land on the left runway here. Alright, so that's not bad. Alright, cool. Yeah, for this plane, you definitely want to give yourself just a little bit of extra room because I feel like it moves quite a bit faster. It doesn't really, but it just feels like it moves a lot faster than the Cessna did. I mean, I guess the Cessna lands at what, 50 or 60, something like that. So we're definitely moving a little bit faster. yeah, the throttle response for this is just so fidgety compared to what I'm used to. A little bit of a crosswind, but it's not too terrible. Get ourselves a little bit to the left. So add some power because we're sinking too fast. I'm happy with the speed. Man, I feel like I'm in a jet right now. I'm having to constantly mess with the throttle to get it to stay on the glide slope that I want. But I think we're going to be okay. I think we're going to be okay. You can't... There is no idling the throttle on this plane, I don't think. Like, you got to control it all the way down. A little bit. All right, idle there. Oh! Did the gear not come out? Well, we got the leg complete. The gear didn't come out. I pressed the button for it. That's my fault because I didn't verify. But okay. Well, at least we finished the flight. Hopefully, we come back next time and it's not destroyed. Anyways, hopefully you guys had lots of fun. Be sure to click that like button so the YouTube algorithm knows that you did and sends the video out to more viewers. The more viewers, the more fun we're going to have. Subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed already, and so that way when the next video comes out, it will show up in your YouTube feed and you'll be able to watch it as soon as it becomes available. And lastly, channel members do get early access to all of my videos, so be sure to click that join button down below to check out that perk plus the other things that you might get depending on which tier you choose to support the channel at. So all of that being said, thank you very much for your time. I hope you guys had lots of fun, and be sure to come back for the next one.